My friend and I recently spent some time in Italy, and our final stop was the beautiful city of Venice. I love this charming city, and I'm always mesmerized by the maze of narrow streets, canals, and bridges. When our time in Italy came to an end, we went to Venice's Marco Polo Airport to catch our flight to Paris. While the Marco Polo Airport is an international airport, it's on the smaller side, so my expectations for the Marco Polo Lounge weren't very high. But the lounge surprised me in a few different ways. I'm happy to report that it was much nicer than I expected, especially for a lounge that is open to Priority Pass lounge members, as well as premium and status customers flying on virtually all airlines that fly out of Venice. By the way, hi, I'm Mel, and I hope you'll stick with me today for a comprehensive look at the lounge and a summary of my impressions. To find the lounge, you'll have to pass through security first, and then the duty-free store. As you leave the store, you'll spot an overhead sign for VIP lounges pointing you in the right direction. Once you see the Mont Blanc store, you'll notice an escalator right across from it. Take that up one level and you'll be on the same floor as the lounge. Just keep following the signs and you'll soon find yourself at the Marco Polo Lounge welcome desk. After checking in with the desk agent, I walked towards the open area of the lounge. I immediately noticed how busy the main section of the lounge looked, but I also spotted a room on my right that looked really inviting and was virtually empty. The main room had tall ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows, and plenty of natural light. I took a right and headed towards the food offerings, and en route I spotted club chairs, sofas, and plenty of tables. It was early morning, breakfast time. The lounge offered a more international style of breakfast rather than the usual American fare of scrambled eggs and bacon. Along the back wall were savory options, including chicken cannelloni, as well as 2 different barracks. There were also sweeter options, tartlets, brownies, and muffins. Then rolls, butter, focaccia, and cold cuts. And finally, 3 types of croissants, including my favorite, chocolate. On the center island were fruit and yogurt options, but what I was most interested in was further along. As I made my way down the island, I was really surprised and happy to see a barista. I know this shouldn't be a big deal, but every lounge I have visited recently has a cappuccino dispenser that you operate yourself rather than a proper espresso machine. The coffee beverages that come out of a dispenser are terrible in my opinion. So having an actual barista make your drink with an actual espresso machine is a much bigger deal to me than it probably should be. I settled on a cappuccino, yogurt, muffin, and croissant. The food was just okay, but the cappuccino was absolute perfection. Isn't it true that the little things in life make all the difference? After savoring a second cup of cappuccino, it was time to explore the rest of the lounge. As I mentioned before, the main section was very full, but right nearby I found an empty room with plenty of open seating. And then right outside that room was a long bar that offered iPads, again, completely empty. Continuing on, there was a third space that was also completely empty. This room is pretty interesting because running along both walls of the room are chairs facing individual monitors. Departure and arrival information can be found on the back wall, and the monitors appear to be interactive television sets. The bathrooms were right nearby, so I decided to take some time to check them out. At the end of the hall, the men's room and the handicap facilities were on the left, while the women's room and the nursing space were on the right. The bathroom itself was attractive and clean, with fully private stalls for each person. The stalls were large and had shelves and hooks to hold your items. After leaving, I headed back to the entrance of the lounge. Right near the welcome desk were a line of individual pods, each with a seat, desktop, and power source. Then I took a left and found myself in a large, cheery room with tons of empty yellow seats. The room was lined with floor-to-ceiling windows like the rest of the lounge, but somehow felt even brighter. In In the back corner of the room, I discovered a mini food station stocked with a few snack items, bottled water, and other bottled drinks. There was also a second set of bathrooms on this end of the lounge. I then headed back across the busier main space to check out what turned out to be the most unique part of this lounge. There's a large room here surrounded by windows and filled with huge plants. And if that's not enough nature for you, you can head out to the terrace. It's a simple space with scattered seating and a few more plants, but what makes it special are the views. I love airports and planes, so I was in heaven out there. I watched as an American Airlines plane pulled up to a nearby boarding bridge. Hanging outside and watching the airport activity was such a great way to relax before my flight. I knew my time was limited though, so soon I had to head back in to find my friend so we could head out to catch our flight. Luckily, the gate was only a short walk away. So how did the Marco Polo Lounge surprise me? Well, first I found it strange how the main room was so crowded, but there were many other empty rooms available. So if you find yourself at this lounge, I suggest that you seek out the more unique and empty spaces. Second, I was impressed by the integrated technology, like the iPads at the long bar and the room filled with interactive TVs. Third, I absolutely loved the plant room and the outside terrace. This was definitely my favorite part of the lounge. And finally, I was surprised and happy that there was a barista, especially because I've often been to higher-end lounges without one. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you enjoyed this tour and review of the Marco Polo Lounge, let me know in the comments. And let me know how you think this lounge stacks up against other priority lounges you've had a chance to visit. Also, if you enjoy reviews like this or want to learn the how-tos for free travel, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Until next time, happy travels!